Hey guys, happy Friday. All right, last week we spoke about investment returns. What are people expecting? What are they hoping investment returns are going to be? What's the reality? What have they been? Where should you have your money invested? All that sort of thing. This week I want to talk about how do you determine which investment profile is right for you. Now it's different for everybody. I'm 40, I work, I get my income from my job. I'm not focused about my investments generating me an income. I want them to grow in value. I want them to grow as quickly as they can and as much as possible. But fast forward 25 years and I'm retired, I want those investments to produce an income for me. So I'm now going to be relying on my investments to provide me an income, whereas now I want them to provide me a growth. And the investments that you put into each of those areas are different and you have to balance it out over time. So let me give you an example. You imagine someone comes into my office and says, hey, Jace, I've got $250,000. I'm going to spend $50,000 on a trip around the world. I got this from an inheritance. Yeah, it came in today. So I'm going to travel around the world. I need you to invest the $200,000 for me. Now, I need to find out their objectives. If I say, that's great, no problem at all. When do you expect to get back from your trip? And they go, 12 months, 18 months, however long the money lasts. Great. What do you want to do with the money when you get back? And they go, I want to buy a house. I want to use that as a deposit on a house. I'm like, no problem at all. There's only one thing we can do. It needs to go into a term deposit. We can't allow the potential volatility of the market to have fallen when you need access to your money. You need it in a short term. So you need to invest it in accordance with that short time frame. Whereas if you said, mate, I've got a house, I'm going to come back to my job, I just need that money to be invested appropriately. I want it to grow as quickly or as much as it can. And when I'm retired, become a significant asset to help fund my retirement. Well, that person is completely different. They've got a 25-year outlook and we can invest it in accordance with their time frame. So what we've done is developed a tool that helps us to help you work out where you should be. Let me have a look. Now, you can be in any number of these. You can be a preservation, a conservative, moderate, balanced, or aggressive. So preservation, 100% cash. That's all you're doing. Conservative, you've got 60 and 15 in defensive assets, which is 75, and 25% in growth assets. Moderate, you're 50-50. So 50% defensive, 50% balanced. 50% growth. Balanced, you're 25% in defensive assets and 75% in growth. And then if you're absolutely aggressive, bit like myself, 100% growth assets. Now, you'll know down here, there's been, years where money has gone backwards. So one of the sayings that I've sort of stumbled across along the way was, when you're in a growth portfolio, 1 in 5, 2 in 10, 3 in 15, 4 in 20 years, the market is going to go down. It's the nature of the beast. Once you can accept that, that is what it is. It's okay. When it actually happens, you go, well, we expected it to happen. This is what it does. And we're going to be in this investment portfolio because we're looking for this growth. Yeah. So average investments over the last 10 financial years, 9.3%, 8.3, 7.3, 6.3, and 2.7. So when you're young, like me, I'm still young, 40 years young, you have the time to go through the volatility and wear these negative years. When you're retired, not so much. So you can see a conservative portfolio where it was 25% in growth assets and 75% in defensive. There hasn't been any negative years in the last 20. So what we've done is built this little tool to help you determine where you should be. So let me give you these questions and see how it plays out. How long will the money be invested before it is needed? So if I'm talking about that 200,000 before, if it was the situation where they go, mate, just get it invested for me and I'll, see what it becomes when I'm retired, which is 25 years. Great. We're 10 plus years down the track. What's your desired long-term investment return above inflation? And they go, mate, I want this to become as much as possible. So we're going to go for the big number. How often will you tolerate a negative return in 20 years? And I've already told you that in this growth asset, there's been 6. So, okay, that sounds reasonable to get this higher amount. And how much volatility are you able to accept? So let's say if it goes down by 15%, I can handle that. If it goes up by 25%, how good's that? You there are an aggressive investor. That's the purpose of this. What about if you're just retired and you go, when's the money needed? Well, I've got my retirement income, so I need it to earn money, but I also need to generate income off it. So I need to access some of the funds. So it's like, how do we answer that? It's like, okay, well, let's say if we're down here a little bit, more, we need this money in a shorter period of time. What is your long term? Well, if it's 3% above inflation, yep, that's great. I can handle that. I'm looking at about a 5% return. How often, look, if it was 2 to 3 times, then, I could handle that. That's okay. And what sort of volatility? Well, if it went down by 5 and up by 15, I could do that. That shows that you're a moderate investor. 50% growth, 50% in defensive assets. So it's same, but different. Yeah. So everyone goes through the questions, but the result's going to be completely different for you. Now, you might have somebody who's 40 like me, but they might be conservative. Like, yeah, I know that, but I can't handle these negative years, or I can't handle it going backwards by that amount of money. So they come back a little bit and reduce it from 6 years to 4 years. Whatever it is, like I said, it's different for you. It's different for me. Somebody who is 40 is going to be a lot more aggressive than somebody who's 65. Somebody who's 40 might be a lot more aggressive than somebody else who's 40, just on their nature. And that's where people need to be educated and understand, where things are at, how it works, what it's all about. So, all right, I'm talking on. I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you want to have a play with the tool and see where you're at and what you're doing and make sure that your super's right and your investment's right, give me a call. That's what we do. All right, guys. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.